Hello, everyone. Hybrid Tour Reviews here, wanting to take a look at the Star Wars The Black Series Holocomm Bo-Katan. All throughout Star Wars, we have seen lots of hologram characters, and Hasbro has attempted to give us a representation of these hologram characters in the Black Series line, featuring some of the first effect pieces in the line, featuring LEDs. I'm really excited. Bo-Katan was the first character I could find in this line, and I'm really excited just to show you what it's all about. So let's get into it and see if this is a worthy subline for our collections. Let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the packaging. This is sort of your standard Black Series fare, but there's a lot of changes going on. So the Holocomm collection being made of hologram figures, they've done a lot of hologram-esque, things to the packaging. This is your normal size for a deluxe figure, the wider, figure box. But there's you have the black of the Black Series packaging, but then there's these blue squiggles and shit that have been done on the edges of the box, and that is really cool. Otherwise, a lot of the standard elements are there, like your Black Series logo up top above a big window showing Bo-Katan and her accessories off nicely. The Holocomm collection is in light blue, and then it features a little symbol for a light bulb because there is a light feature. Her name there. Warning, information about the batteries. It takes 3 AAA batteries, ages 4 and up in Hasbro. This side of the box features a wanted for 30,000 credit symbol above a picture of Bo-Katan as a hologram, and it's embossed. There's texture to the picture. That is so cool. I don't think they've ever done that on a Black Series package before, and that is amazing. It is a really well done photograph, and I like it. Her name is down at the bottom. This side of the box is your standard Black Series fare with the wraparound stripe, your logo at the bottom, and then more of that Holocomm static. Around back, you have Black Series logo, her name, a bio in varying languages. It's not about her, but about the line, being transmitted details of your next bounty with the Holocomm collection. So, something interesting is that they're talking about, the Holocomm, or the Holo Pucks, for bounty hunters, but they're calling this the Holocomm collection. I'm kind of hoping that in future ways, maybe we get different bases where they're not the, the bounty hunter puck. Maybe they give us a wave where it's the Jedi communicator and you give us a bunch of Holocomm Jedi. That'd be kind of cool. But anyway, it says up here, hologram effect in varying languages, and then includes bounty chip. You have your Holocomm collection again, lights up. And then underneath that is a ton of legal information and Disney logo and attention and crying baby. And at the bottom, there's more legal stuff and barcode. Up top is your window and hanger tab, standard fanfare. So yeah, it's a little busier than your normal Black Series packaging, but all of the essential elements are there. Let's go ahead and open her up and take a look at what you get here. So here's the Holocomm Bo-Katan out of the packaging. Let's go ahead and start by looking at Bo-Katan and her accessories. So, setting the puck and the sign off to the side, we have her jetpack, which is the same sculpt as the one that comes on the standard figure. Spoiler alert, if you do have the standard Bo-Katan figure, you have this in a different color scheme. So this is in a mostly clear with a hint of blue plastic. It's really cool looking. I do like the presentation here. Features the peg on the back, which pegs into her back very securely, not going anywhere. We have Bo-Katan's helmet. It looks really clear. This is a little less blue. It's just because it's so thin. It doesn't have the thickness for the opacity, but features the working rangefinder, and there's no paint, no detail whatsoever. It is just a female Mandalorian helmet. She comes with her 2 blaster pistols, also done in the kind of clear blue. She has her working hip holsters, and they fit into nicely. And yeah, it is just a reuse sculpt. If you have Bo-Katan, you kind of know what you're getting here. There's good likeness to the sculpt. It's kind of interesting, right? So, the nice thing about a transparent action figure, at least in my opinion, is it's not see-through. I'm kind of a technical-minded person, so I kind of like seeing the internals, the guts of a figure. So if you look beyond the sculpting inside of there, you see where pins are inside the torso to hold the 2 pieces together. And some people will like that, some people won't. You can see, like, in the upper arm, the pin that goes up from the elbow, and you can see, you know, like, the peg up in the knee and the upper thigh, and down into the foot. You can see the hinge peg in there. It isn't super obnoxiously obvious to the naked eye, but it does look really good. Like, I mean, it looks pretty good, but it's really interesting to me to be able to see the internals of an action figure. Something that I don't really like is her helmet's clear, so when you put it on the head, you can still see the face, not crystal clear because it's hazy, it's hazy clear plastic, but you can still see the face in there. It's just a little disconcerting. I think what I'll end up doing is I'll have her on the display not wearing her helmet, but probably, helmet like under the arm, kind of something like that. That might be the move. But yeah, otherwise it is your standard Bo-Katan figure. I'll crunch through articulation really quick and then we'll get on to the puck. Features the double ball bell neck. Allows her to look that far up, that far down, some side to side, and a ton of pivot. Arms come up to a T pose, and then there's a butterfly joint in there, 360 at the shoulder with single jointed elbows that go a little past 90, rotate, 360 on the wrists. Both of them have a vertical hinge, mid-torso ball joint, allowing her to crunch that far forward, that far back, side to side, and pivot. Legs can kick pretty far wide, straight forward, not much back. There's an upper thigh rotation, single jointed knee that goes a little past 90 and rotates at the knee. Her feet can point basically straight down, a little bit forward, and there's a forward-facing pin for rocker, allowing you to get some decently wide stances with both feet flat on the ground. So now that we've gone through the figure element of the review, let's go ahead and take a look at the Holocomm puck. So this is made to look like the bounty hunter puck, that gives the bounty hunter the little hologram and details about who they're hunting. It's sculpted very, very nicely in a dark gray plastic. It has a little bit of a texture around the base with these little like nubbin buttons in there. So it looks really nice. Now, as you know, one of those nubbin buttons is actually a literal button. We'll get to that in a moment. Underneath, you have your battery compartment featuring a Phillips head screwdriver. It takes 3 AAA batteries, which I've pre-installed. Up top, you have a hazy white panel. You can still totally see those LEDs through it, though. There is some Orbesh text on that board, though. That's kind of cool. That makes it feel very in-universe. I can't translate offhand. It wouldn't shock me if it says LED or something, though, which is nice. You have these kind of like painted in edge grooves there. Now, something I really do not like in the front here is the pinhole for the wanted sign, which looks very nice. It's very clear and has your your wanted and price there, and it pegs in like so. It's relatively, it's secure, but it's not super snug, so it's kind of like, I wish it was a bit of a better fit, but it's not a bad fit. So that fits in nice, and it is in alignment with the push button. I like that. But then you see the foot pegs. One's down here and one's up there. They're not aligned. I wish the feet were, perfectly aligned with that warning sign, because now I can't just have them standing in a semi-neutral pose, which is how personally I'd really prefer to display this. And I guess I could just have the figure stand on it, but then they're not pegged to it, but like the pegs not being aligned, like, come on, why would you do that, Hasbro? But they're not aligned. You have to put them in a bit of a stance. But then the other thing is, because the left foot has to peg in there, like the foot, like, I don't know, it gets really, really close to the wanted sign. I don't know that I like it. But anyway, let's look at our electronic features here. In the box, in addition to all the paper that's usually in the bottom, there is a little instruction booklet. I advise you to read that if you pick this up. But in summary, there are 2 light modes here. If you press the button briefly once, you see it boots up, which is really cool, and the lights do have a little bit of a flicker to them, which gives them a hologram effect. The center bulb is blue, and then the 5 surrounding ones are white. You can see the white ones have a bit of a flicker. The blue does too, but not as much as the whites do. And after 15 seconds of a gentle button push, the lights will time out and go to sleep, like so. Now, if you would like to have a longer display, you press and hold that button in. It's on a momentary switch. There you go. Now it boots up. Now what this will do is it will run uninterrupted for 30 minutes, basically meaning you're going to need 3 new AAA batteries after a full 30-minute cycle. Now, you don't have to run it for the 30 minutes. If you want to just run it for a couple of minutes, the 30 minutes is just a timeout because that's the longest anyone could possibly want it to run. So after those 30 minutes, or if during that 30-minute run time you would like to shut it off, just press it once and hold just for a split sec, and it will power down. Same could be said for the 15-second mode. You see we're like 1, 2, 3 seconds in. Push it again. I don't have to run it for the full 15 seconds. That is kind of nice. To show you the effect here, let me go ahead and stick Bo-Katan. I'll put her feet on the pegs like so, and then you see like the one being so close to the toes have to be up on the brim. Like I hate that. I really hate that. Although I guess I could just have one foot pegged in and the other there. I don't know. Maybe that's the solution. But if I use both pegs, if I want to be like really secure with her, just to show you, and that wanted sign is like just right on her toes. Like I don't know. I think I'm just going to use the one peg. That might be the solution. Truly, that actually does look a bit better. Anyway, let's go ahead and press it in for the 30-second runtime. So there you see Bo-Katan illuminated. You're probably not incredibly impressed by it. I can't say I blame you for not being super impressed. I will knock down the lighting here. I say knock down the lighting, I mean I'll turn off the lighting. Here's the studio lighting, the above my head lamp. And as you can see, I'll leave the detail lighting on because it's very dim. But as you can see, the light really hits the legs, it hits the hands, and it doesn't really get through the torso or into the head at all. The helmet, I guess, would light up pretty nice were it in her hand like I'd like to. But if you put the helmet on her head, it just doesn't catch any light. It just doesn't travel up that high. It's not a terrible gimmick. I'm not upset with it. It does the job. But I gotta say, I kind of wish it was a bit brighter. I don't know what could be done. The flickering of the lights does give it a nice hologram quality. It's kind of just not as effective as I would probably hope it would be. But it's not bad. I don't look at it and I'm not necessarily disappointed. So I'm going to go ahead and bring back the lighting. So yeah, there it is back in normal lighting, and it almost makes it look like it's lighting up better in normal lighting because then you have light coming from above, like down onto the helmet. But yeah, that's kind of what it is. Let's go ahead and jump to some concluding thoughts because I do have some thoughts on this line, and we'll see how we're feeling. So end of the day, what do I think of the Holocomm Bo-Katan? And honestly, I'm probably just going to talk some thoughts about the line, too, because this seems to be kind of standard across the board. But I think it is a very interesting gimmick. Unless I'm mistaken, this is the first electronic anything in the Black Series line. I do not count the lightsabers and helmets as Black Series. They are not Black Series. They are Black Series and title only. I consider the Star Wars The Black Series as 6-inch action figures and related accessories. And so I don't think we've ever had a figure with a light-up feature or a sound chip. I don't think we've had any battery effects in any of the vehicles. So this is completely new territory, and I hope that this is like a sign of Hasbro being a little bit experimental, and maybe it means that we might get some really cool things in the line going forward. So I gotta say, kudos to Hasbro for trying something different. I am a sucker for a transparent action figure, so I'm here for it. However, I will say that I think this could have been executed a little bit better. The big thing for me is the lack of any sort of shading. I feel like there definitely should be some paint apps punched in just to accentuate, because right now she is a clear blue chunk of plastic with not really much of anything else going on here. You can't see her forehead helmet markings, which are present on the art on the side of the box where she presents as a hologram. I think that they should use some very subtle white paint or light gray to punch in some details like the forehead of the helmet and her, her little symbols on her shoulder pads, And just to give you a little bit of shading, you know, maybe punch in the eyes and the lips just to give a little bit of life to the face. It's not terrible. But, like, I feel like if this is what a hologram looked like in Star Wars and I was a bounty hunter and you gave me this, I wouldn't be able to really tell who I'm looking at. It is a female silhouette with no detail, and I think just a smidge of paint could have really done a lot here. Maybe a little bit of a darker gray on the visor of the helmet just to really hide the fact that you can see the face through the helmet. So, I don't know. I think the budget for the paint has to be there because it's a largely repainted figure. However, I like the price point because the price point comes in at $27.99. That's a standard exclusive figure price. Your normal figure is $24.99. When you throw it as a store exclusive, usually it's $27.99. So they didn't charge us anymore, but we got these LED features, so like that's probably where our paint cost went. I would personally be happy to spend like $30, you know, as long as we got just a smidge of detail paint. I think it would definitely break up the monotony of the clear blue, but I also like it as it is. Like, it's not bad. It could be improved. I could see this as being an experimental first wave, and then they tweak a few things for a second wave. So yeah, I guess I'm definitely supportive of this subline. I like it. I'm not going to be a completionist. This first wave has some weird picks. Din Djarin, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, solid. Han Solo, yeah, he definitely has some bounties on him. Axe Woves, kind of starting to get into the territory of, like, I don't care. Like, yeah, he's probably got a bounty on him, I guess, but, like, Axe Woves, you're going to give me a Holocomm line and open with Axe Woves? Like, give me, like, a Chewbacca to put with that Han Solo or something. He has a bounty on him, 100%. Like, I don't know. Like, so going forward, I don't know what we're going to see with this line. This could be a one-hit wonder and just be a one-wave thing. I hope not. As I said in the beginning, I kind of hope we see some different pucks, because, like, I'm not necessarily loving the bounty hologram idea. Like, it's nice, but I don't want the line to be bounties. I would like to see some variety. I would like to see holograms of Jedi from the prequel trilogy, because whenever they couldn't make a council meeting, you would see them, you know, in a hologram form. So it would definitely make sense to give us some hologram Jedi, but then put them on a bounty puck? Like, no, like, they never lived long enough to have bounties put on them. You should make a different base that has the same LEDs, but make the shroud look like a Jedi hologram, you know, projector. Or other types of projectors, you know, for different, you know, legions and alliances. I think it'd be cool to get a hologram of Commander Cody, a hologram of battle droids, you know. I mean, give me a little bit of everything. Give me some sequel trilogy holograms too. Don't ignore those sculpts. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's aligned with some promise. It's interesting. I hope it's not a one-hit wonder, but I hope they don't just stick to this bounty theme. I hope it kind of spreads its wings and does some different things too. Because if it's just another line where it's just the Mandalorian stuff, like, I think I'll tap out. So, that's where I'm at. Thanks for watching. It means a lot that you did. If you enjoyed, you should leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that end of video stuff. I'm going to go work on some other ones. So, until next time, may the Force be with each and every one of you, and goodbye.